Hey everybody, I'm Scott Weichel. You're listening to My Kind of Country. Thanks so much for joining us on a Monday night. My guest tonight is an entertainer that country music fans have adored for more than 6 decades. She's had a great string of country music hits, including a Grammy nomination and induction into the Arkansas Country Music Hall of Fame and the Christian Music Hall of Fame. And now she has a brand new release that has been just put out from our friends at Country Rewind Records. She's got a beautiful song that she's just released as a single from that. We're going to talk about all that today. And of course, we're going to play her signature song, the Teddy Bear Song. And when I say that, you know who I'm talking about. It's a pleasure to welcome Barbara Fairchild to My Kind of Country. Barbara, how are you tonight?
I am great. I tell you, and I'm happy to be talking to you, Scott, and to your wonderful listeners. So it's a treat for me.
Well, it's a true honor to have you on the show, and I want to thank my good friend Jennifer Herron for setting this up with us. She is just one of the nicest people in the business, and I'm so glad we were able to do this today.
She's a great person, and she's beautiful, too.
Yes, she is. Absolutely. Well, Barbara, I'm very excited about this new project. I follow all the Country Rewind series that they do, and I've done features on a lot of them because these are recordings that were thought to have been lost, and they have found them, and they were originally recorded for broadcast on radio for the Navy Hoedown series and the Army Air Force, all that stuff. And now they're cleaning them up and putting them back out, and they've put out this great collection of your music. What was your reaction when you first heard about these recordings?
Well, I mean, it's pretty exciting, because obviously I love these songs, or I wouldn't have sung them, years ago, and it's just it's a real treat. And they made a beautiful package here, and I'm real thrilled with how I look. I wake up in the morning, I was so going this cover. You said, now this is who you're married to. But so it really is. It's exciting too, and to hear these songs again. And I just we listened back through them, I thought, oh my land, this brings back so many memories, And so it's a real treat to be part of what they're doing. I can remember, when they were doing these for our military, which we love and appreciate them so much. And we have a son-in-law that's a career Navy guy, and my dad was in the Navy, my brother was in the Army, and all. And and I can remember, they'd interview us and record that, and when they, sent it up for the folks in the service to hear, that was a treat back then to be part of that. So this is a great memory of those days.
That's wonderful. Well, there's some, as I said, previously unreleased versions of some of your big hit songs, and you also recorded some cover songs on here. Behind Closed Doors is just fabulous. I don't think I've ever heard a female artist cover that song before.
Well, of course, that's a great song, and I toured some with Charlie Rich, and we were both on Columbia, and he actually wanted me to do some shows with him. And I'll tell you, one story was so funny. We did a show, and I think, if I'm remembering right, I think it was Kansas City. And it's a great big auditorium. It was packed, because Charlie was such a big star. Everybody loved his stuff, and I met more people that said I was at that show.
Oh, wow.
And I've done prison ministry too. I go in there with people. I like prison ministry because I tell folks, because when they bring them in, they count them, and then they can't leave until you're done. and so it really is a captive audience.
It really is.
But what was so funny, I said, can I get one of the guys up when I sang Teddy Bear, if it was okay. And so they said, okay, because, they got guards all over the place. And so I picked this guy up out of the audience there, and he come up there, and I asked him his name. He said, well, they called me Tiny. And he was really a big guy. And then he actually told me that he was at that show when I do that show with Charlie Rich, and I wanted to say, answering my questions and everything and talking to me. And the inmates out there were just having a field day with that. And I don't remember if it was the warden or the chaplain that was kind of in charge that day. And I said, why in the world were they talking like they were, when I had Tiny up there? And they said, he doesn't talk to anyone.
Wow.
And so they were getting a kick out of him talking. And I actually wrote to him for years.
Is that right?
Because that wasn't really his name. And he wrote me a letter after that, and he said, I've made so many friends, and everything's so much happier in prison.
Oh, that's great.
Since she got up there and sang with me. It is. I mean, my life's just full of great experiences like that, and it was just, and it's wonderful when your songs can have a real lasting impact on people's lives, too, and that's really special when you get to record something like Teddy Bear,
Oh, for sure.
My baby makes me proud. Lord, don't it make me proud. He never makes a scene by hanging all over me in a crowd. Some people like to talk. Lord, don't they love to talk? But when they turn out the lights, I know he'll be leaving with me. And when we get behind closed doors, then I lift my head and I make him glad that he's my man. Oh, no one knows what goes on behind closed doors. My baby makes me smile. Lord, don't it make me smile? He's never far away or too tired to say, I want you. And I'm always a lady, just like he wants me to be. But when they turn out the lights, it's just my baby and me. And when we get behind closed doors, then I lift my head down and I make him glad that he's my man. Oh, no one knows what goes on behind closed doors. Behind closed doors.
And folks, you can go to countryrewindrecords.com and check out not only Barbara's new release called And I Love You So, and you can also go to Barbara's website, which is barbarafairchild.com, and stay up to date with her on all of her tour dates and so many great things that she's got going on. Barbara, you've released And I Love You So, the title song, as a single from this, and I believe that this was written by Don McLean.
Yes, and boy, was that ever a beautiful song. And I also have on the album Vincent, and a lot of people call it Starry, Starry Night, and that was a gorgeous song. So I recorded two of his on here. He just was an amazing writer, and of course I love those beautiful ballad kind of songs. And of course was just it's just beautiful. So when they asked me what I'd like to release as a single off of it, and my husband and I both said, why don't we go with that one, And because I think too, and even though there's some other songs that were hits for other people, I think it's better to go with something that a man sang instead of a woman, because when you have the great songs like Satin Sheets and some of these other things that the girls sing, that kind of really, there's going to be a comparison of how you sing it. But I think if you're singing a song a man sang, at least they don't compare you too close with that. So, anyhow, that's my Arkansas by birth thinking.
There you go.
So.
And I love you so. People ask me how I've lived till now. I tell them I don't know. I guess they understand how lonely life has been. But life began again the day you took my hand. And yes, I know how lonely life can be. The shadows follow me, and the night won't set me free. But I don't let the evening get me down. Now that you're around me, and you love me too. Your thoughts are just of me. You set my spirit free. I'm happy that you do. The book of life is brief, and once a page is read, all but love is dead. That is my belief. And yes, I know how lonely life can be. The shadows follow me, and the night won't set me free. But I don't let the evening get me down. Now that you're around me.
Well, some other beautiful songs on here. I really don't want to know. You did a gorgeous job on that. Why Me, Lord, the Chris Christopherson standard is just beautiful. So many great songs. Of course, you did Kid Stuff, one of your songs on here, and just a fantastic. There's 14 songs on here, and they sound like they were recorded yesterday. They sound beautiful.
I appreciate it. You mentioned Why Me, Lord?
Yeah.
Of course, that was such an awesome song. But I was Jimmy Snow, which is Tank Snow's son, did a gospel thing after the Opry, for several years.
Yes.
And I happened to be in town that night. I think I had done the Opry that night, but I went, and that was Chris Christopherson sang that song.
Oh, wow.
He had just written it, and you know the story there. I think Connie Smith invited him to church. They were on a concert together or something, and she invited him to church. And then he went, I talked to him one time, him and his wife in Germany. We were on a show, and he was talking about how that the experience that he had, and he said he asked about the pastor said asked people to raise their hands or something if they wanted to accept the Lord or something. And Chris said, "My arm just went up automatically." and when they prayed for him and stuff, he said it was like he used to go in the mountains and they with friends, and they'd jump in the water up there when it was so cold.
Mm-hmm.
It said it was really cold, but it was so refreshing. And he said that's how he felt. And I thought that was pretty amazing.
It sure is.
You know?
Yeah.
So, but I remember him singing that song that night, first time I ever heard it, and I just thought, wow, just sitting in the audience, you know. And it was amazing.
Why me, Lord? What have I ever done to deserve even one of the pleasures I've known? Tell me, Lord, what did I ever do that was worth loving you for the kindness you show? Lord, help me, Jesus, I've wasted it, so help me, Jesus, I know what I am. Now that I know that I needed you, so help me, Jesus, my soul's in your hand. Try me, Lord, if you think there's a way I can try to repay all I've taken from you. Maybe, Lord, I can show someone else what I've been through myself on my way back to you. Lord, help me, Jesus, I've wasted it, so help me, Jesus, I know what I am. Now that I know that I needed you, so help me, Jesus, my soul's in your hand. Jesus, my soul's in your hand.
And you also have a version of, I believe this was your first top 10 song, A Girl Who Satisfied Her Man.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's Jerry Crutchfield is really, he's the man that started my career. And I just owe everything to him. And sometimes I read stories that don't quite get that right. But I was about 16 years old at the time, and my dad took me and a friend of mine, she was married, and we were writing songs together. In fact, she taught me to write. And we went to Nashville, and we had a meeting with a record company that thought I was too young. And we took a little walk. Well, my dad said, I'm going to put my feet up on this park bench and y'all can walk around if you want to. I'm going to rest. And so we were just walking past these record companies and all. And we cut through the Deca parking lot. And this man come out of this office there. And she said, I think I know who that is. We stopped him and asked him, and it was Jerry. And he took the time to listen to our songs. And we had one that he liked, and he said, if you'll go home and write me 7 more as good as this when it come back. In 2 months, we went back with 16. And he signed us as writers and signed me to a management contract. This song, when I recorded it, I was traveling with some friends, and it come on the radio, and I was so excited. And then they said, that's Tammy Wynette. So I was like, oh, shoot. But it was my song. Anyhow. But I remember that so plain.
Oh,
and I was so excited. There's my song playing on the radio. And then they said it was Tammy.
Oh, jeez.
So it wasn't her fault.
I know your heart is aching, mine is too. I know exactly what you're going through. So helplessly I've had to just stand by and watch her hurt so much I could die. So maybe now I'll have the chance to try to kiss away your tears and help them dry. Please accept my love and take the hand of a girl who'll always satisfy her man. Inside my arms, it's nice and warm, always for you. And I know I'll make you understand. Satisfy her man. So come to me, I'll hold you tenderly. You'll be in the hands of a girl who'll always satisfy her man.
Billy Sherrill is the one that signed you to your Columbia contract, is that right?
Yes, and see, when I got my first contract was with Cap Records, and
Okay.
that was a label that at one time Cher had recorded on that label, and Mel Tillis had, and I seemed like it was a subsidiary of a bigger company, but so that was my first deal, and I had, I think, 2 or 3 singles or something. But as we were writing songs, Jerry was recording me singing the demo, and they were sending those out to, to other producers and stuff for artists. And Billy, we had a song that we'd written called "Love Is a Gentle Thing," and Billy loved that song. And he told Jerry, said, that doesn't fit any of my artists. And he said, why don't you let me have Barbara over here at Columbia and I'll record it on her. Next thing I know, I'm out of one contract and into another one. And that's how I come to be on Columbia Records. And of course it was definitely a step up, And but I learned something through the other one, and that was good. It was just, of course, I really love the Lord, and I really think He's kind of been in charge of my life even before I knew He was. So that was just a real blessing.
Well, you had a lot of great songs during those times. Thanks for the memories and Love's Old Song and kid stuff, as I mentioned earlier. Tell me the story of the Teddy Bear song and the whole process of recording that. And were you really surprised when it hit so big for you?
Well, when it got that big, I knew it was a great song. And that was written by two friends of mine because when I was a freshman in high school, my dad moved our family to St. Louis. And, of course, I had more opportunities to sing there. I've always loved to sing. And met a guy named Nick Nixon who had a really good band there in the area, and I ended up singing with them. My dad was always go with me, and there was a homicide detective named Don Earl. He was with the St. Louis Police Department, and he'd always come listen to us sing. And him and Nick became friends too, and they started writing songs together. And so, when I got my record contract and all that, they always played me songs, which were good, but they didn't fit me. Mm-hmm. And I introduced them to Jerry Crutchfield, and they started writing for the publishing company that he ran. And so I remember we were doing, and this album was originally called "A Sweeter Love."
Oh, really?
And and that was the single that was released, and the Teddy Bear was just on the album. But it was funny because we were recording that, and he said, before we go in the studio, said, let me play you a little song Don and Nick wrote. And it was the Teddy Bear song. And it was just instant love. I said, oh my goodness, I love that. Don't play that for anyone else. And I found out he played it for a whole bunch of people that had turned it down, and I couldn't record it that day, but the next session we did, I recorded it. And so in WPLO, huge reporting station, in Atlanta, Bill Anderson said he was there visiting the station for about an hour one day and said and A Sweeter Love was moving up the charts, fairly decently. It was doing pretty good. And he said that they got 53 calls for the Teddy Bear song when I was there in that hour. And Jim Clement, who was the program director there, had started playing Teddy Bear off that album. And so he called the Columbia and said, you've got a hit on Barbara Fairchild if you'll put that out. And so next thing I know, they said, we got to do a new picture, and it had a pretty cover on it. So I'm out in the grass there with a big teddy bear, and they're taking the pictures and stuff. And the funny thing is, they changed the cover of the album, but the back side, it still said A Sweeter Love. Where all the information is.
Yeah.
And I had never seen one that didn't say that. So I don't know if somebody has one of those that has anything about the Teddy Bear song other than just listing the song. It sold a lot of records, so at some point they might have redone the back.
Oh, that's interesting.
And I thought that was pretty funny.
Barbara, I know that you're doing a lot of touring, and you're on tour right now, and you're playing a lot of churches and things like that. And I know you work in Branson quite a bit, and I saw that you were on Tracy Pitcock's show down in Texas recently, and you do some stuff with him. And you're working with your husband, Roy Morris. Tell me a little bit about what's going on right now with your career.
Well, what's going on. That I'm getting ready. Of course, we live in Branson. I'm getting ready to do a show called The Grand Ladies with Leona Williams and Mary Lou Turner.
Oh, great.
And we're going to do three shows a week. We have been, the three of us live there, and we're having a lot of fun doing this. And a few years back, they did a show called The Grand Lady. And I would substitute if one of them couldn't be there. Mm-hmm. And they had different ladies, that were members of the opera and stuff on that. And that was, people really liked that show. And then for whatever reason, they stopped doing the show. So I don't think anything went wrong. I think they just wasn't doing it. And then we've gotten close, Leona and Mary Lou and I, and we've been singing one weekend a month on Friday and Saturday night on a show with a guy named Stevie Lee Woods. And that theater is the Starlight, but I think, well, they may change the name of it. I don't know, so I won't say much more. Anyway, but we're really looking forward to doing this little show together, and people are excited about that. And now I went to Branson. I had a 1-year contract with Mel Tillis back in 1992. My husband said 2. I almost said 5. Anyway, and I ended up just doing the one season, but I never left Branson.
Oh, wow.
I started doing my own show there, and I've been there ever since.
Oh, that's great.
In that time, I did start the last show with my husband and I was about 2016. Good Lord, time flies.
Yeah, it does.
And we also did a worship service there on Sunday mornings, and started that same year. I started doing my own show, and then in 2017 was the last year we did that. And then Roy does a tribute show to the Statler brothers that's fabulous, and I ran his lights for that.
Oh, wow.
Well, let me tell you, he should have got someone else. And he told me, this was so funny, he said, you may have to do my light first, because they changed theaters, and the other theater had a guy that was staffed sound and light. And so they just do this a couple times a week. And he said, when he couldn't find what he needed, he said, you're going to have to do it. I said, are you out of your mind? And he said, well, you know the show so well. I said, that will mean I know how to run them lights. And it was computerized, but all I had to do was just hit a little space bar thing, because they program all these cues in it. Mm-hmm. But the guy said, now if you hold that button down too long, it'll skip cues. Oh my God! And it was funny, because on the screen there was a song and who's playing the break and all that, and then you just supposed to tap that thing. And it was about the second or third show, and I'm sitting there. And I'm thinking I'm doing really good. I'm looking at that screen. I looked up, and they were running all over the stage trying to get under their lights. And I'm like, oh, dear Jesus. And they had a sound guy there that helped me straighten it out. What was so funny is everybody thought it was part of the show. I mean, he had just introduced me as his light person. I did that. And they said that comedy routine was just hilarious. And I'm like, oh my goodness, the Lord covered me on that one.
Oh my gosh.
But anyhow, I got better. But it's not my favorite thing to do. So maybe I can make him work free for me and Leona and Mary Lou.
There you go. Well, you turned from a light technician to a choreographer, it sounds like.
Oh, my God. Life is never dull, brother, I'll tell you that.
Amen. Well, folks, again, you can go to barbarafairchild.com. It's her website, and you can stay up on all the dates that are coming up for her and the grand ladies of country music. And also countryrewindrecords.com has the new release available called And I Love You So. We're going to play some more of those songs for you right now as we continue with My Kind of Country. Barbara, God bless you. Thank you so much for taking time to be on my show.
Thank you. Bye, y'all.
I often think of younger days, a boy, a girl, and backyard play. I did hurt, you'd get your way, and they called it kid stuff. And though it mattered little then, the childish games you'd always win. Now the stakes are higher and it's no longer kid stuff. Kid stuff when I was little was sitting in the middle of a cotton candy world. But now my heart is saying this is no game we'll play, for I can see I'm losing you to another world. I remember very well plans we made by a wishing well, and secret stuff we couldn't tell. Ain't that just like kid stuff? And I always thought you'd be mine, at least until the end of time. I wore your ring that cost a dime. Happiness is kid stuff. Kid stuff when I was little was sitting in the middle of a cotton candy world. But now my heart is saying this is no game we'll play, for I can see I'm losing you to another world. I'm losing you to another world. I wish I had button eyes and a red felt nose, shaggy cotton skin and just one set of clothes, sitting on a shelf in a local department store, with no dreams to dream and nothing to be sorry for. I wish I was a teddy bear, not living or loving, nor going nowhere. I wish I was a teddy bear, and I'm wishing that I had fallen in love with you. I wish I had a wooden heart and a sawdust mind. Then your memory wouldn't come around hurting all the time. I'd have a so-don't smile and a penny twinkle in my eye, and I never would have ever had to learn how to cry. I wish I was a teddy bear, not living or loving, nor going nowhere. I wish I was a teddy bear, and I'm wishing that I had fallen in love with you. I wish I had a string you could pull to make me say, hi, I'm Teddy, ain't it a lovely day? Then I'd know every time I spoke the words were right, and no one would know the mess I made of my night. I wish I